Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I love y'all. Hold on. I love y'all and I miss y'all so much. Give me that ink pen. Okay, here I go. Back in effect, back in effect. Yeah, I miss y'all so much. And I apologize. I want to go back into what I was telling y'all because y'all already knew I was trying to run from the hackers. But it does no good. So I had a lot of butterflies reaching out to me trying to find out where I was. They missed me. They missed the daily breads. They missed seeing me. So I had to come show my face in the place for my people on our different platforms because I don't even have a platform that I'm just going to target right now because all my accounts still twisted and tangled. But I am so excited, y'all. I'm happy y'all know it's Thursday. And I've always been a thankful Tuesday and a thankful Thursday person. And I've always been a testimonial Tuesday and a testimonial Thursday person. So I still want to share my testimony with y'all. I always got a testimony, and I'm just thankful today to be here because y'all that know me and y'all that don't know me or whatever, but I am the lady that got shot in the face. So if you want to know what happened to my face, that's what happened to my face. I got shot in the face by my husband, and I was pronounced dead. I was supposed to be 100% paralyzed. I was supposed to have been 100% nerve damage. My eye was matted together, gone. My mouth was wired together. And God healed me, but He sent me home for 2 weeks to for my swelling and stuff to go down because they couldn't do no more surgeries and stuff like that. And within them 2 weeks or whatever, my husband committed suicide 6 days later. And so y'all know that that was very, very hard for me. I don't care how much religion you have in you, how much you want to trust God, how much you want to do the right thing. That is not easy. And doing the right thing ain't always easy either, even when you lined up to do the right thing and not being fun. I have always told I wasn't just lined up to be doing the right thing because I was still doing my thing. You feel me? So that was very, very hard for me in a situation like that. I wasn't a great apostle that Sister Meredith in the church or nothing like that. So forgiveness wasn't my thing. But forgiveness had to be my key to make it through this thing. You feel me? And I learned, and it's been 3 years now. And so I learned over them 3 years that forgiveness is key. Forgiveness is power. And I believe that was my major test or major journey, even when we be adults and still be going through stuff from our past or still be in our ways or whatever, it be some unforgiveness back there on that street somewhere that sometimes we still be holding on to. Resentment, ill feelings, and everything. We just ain't no forgivers like that now. You feel me? We hold grudges. And I would dismiss you. You feel me? Period. Like that. So that was very, very hard for me, but I tried to be obedient. And being obedient ain't always easy either. You feel me? And so another part that played in there, just like I told y'all, my life was gone. I heard the ambulance driver, somebody saying no pulse, no pulse. And I said, oh, Lord, please don't take me like this. Please don't take me like this. I ain't ready to go. Please don't take me like this. But He did allow me to wake up, spitting up blood in the hospital and stuff like that. And so I was the one that could have been dead. I was the one that was pronounced dead. And I was the one fighting for my life. So how could I hold on to animosity or resentment or anger And I need God so much right here in this little gap right here. I'm scared to death right here in this little gap right here. Look, I am finally scared. I finally scared. I'm finally scared. And I did everything up under the sun. You know, we think we know the streets. We done been in the streets. I've been to prison. I done been in the world. So I know this or that. But I ain't know nothing about the power of forgiveness, okay? I really didn't. And I grew up in the church, but I had never had to use the power of forgiveness like that or didn't know it was so important. But you know, everybody called me dumb and crazy. Oh, because I was, you know, like I said, it happened 6 days once I came from the hospital. And so I still had my bandage on my face and I was still short winded, holding on to the wall and mouth still wired up and all this. And, after I wrestled with God all weekend, I finally understood what that scripture meant when he said David wrestled with God all night. I wrestled with God all weekend because, Lord, I know you plan. I know you this ain't for me. This ain't for me. Now you said you'll put no more on me than I can bear, and I can't bear that. You tripping. That was Friday. You tripping on everything. You straight up tripping. And sometimes for y'all that don't know me, I look when I be dead serious or I look up to God, I be looking directly at him because we be having to talk one on one sometimes. You feel me? Because what we got going on here. And so I know you ain't putting this on me, not your child. Not me, not me. So that was Friday. I tried to dismiss it. You feel me? Then we got Saturday. It didn't really come across my mind really. So Sunday, Sunday is the beginning of a new week. And we gonna make this week better than last week. That's what another little thing I used to be saying about new beginnings. I holler new beginning for 3 years until it finally became a new beginning. I was holler new beginning with the hole still big in my face and my face still smushed up from the impact and stuff. I was holler new beginning. Still changing gauze and stuff. Baby, listen. Woo, Lord Jesus. It's been a ride. But God, I made it, y'all. I made it, and I'm so happy. I'm so excited. I don't know how I made it, y'all. It was, baby, this has got me down to the lowest point in my life. But it also built me to the highest and the strongest point of my life. But going through wasn't easy. Going through, I didn't understand. Going through, I never heard of such. This like a TV show, a movie or something I done seen on TV. This ain't my life. This ain't real life. This can't be real. I think I probably was in shock for about 2 years. Just just going with the flow. Everything constantly happening. My girls went against me. One of my daughters walked out the door and left me. Then we went on down the road. I did forgive my husband. I buried my husband. There wasn't nobody there but me and my son for real. One of my butterflies came from another little town and she was there with me. Thank God or whatever. But, I tried to do the right thing in that. And I tried to, go on with the flow even when I didn't understand, even when I didn't want to. Y'all thought that was easy. Baby, I had went bipolar schizophrenic and counseled the funeral 3 times in one day. Baby, but the day of the funeral, they had to call me and say, Miss Missy, are we having a funeral today, baby? Because after my son singing rolling down the street, but I don't care what you do. They were calling about the obituary. I was on the phone. I was on the line, and my nerve was getting bad and everything, baby. I said, put a Grey Goose bottle in there for the picture. Shoot, that's what he loved, Grey Goose. As long as you make sure you have a picture of my son in there. Then they kept calling about that. Well, what's the fifth picture? Baby? I don't care nothing about no pictures. Matter of fact, it ain't gotta be no obituary. Make one obituary for my son. You ain't gotta make now for me. Just make one for my son. So, I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot. And then the first time that I saw him was getting him dressed, making sure he was decent and in order for the public to release the body for the viewing. And so that was my first time seeing him after the night I was shot. And so I didn't know how I was gonna deal with that. I didn't know how I was gonna feel. I didn't know how that was gonna make my body react or nothing because in the very beginning, by my nerves and stuff being so damaged and all the bones and stuff broke and stuff out my in my face and stuff, cause them plates and stuff over there. I got a custom made plate right there too. Them crease all that. Them plates and my eyes sit between two plates because it was supposed to been gone. Thank you, Lord. They wanted to do 3 surgeries on me, get a nerve out of my neck and put it inside of my mouth because it was twisted like I had 2 strokes. And baby, I ain't let them do nail surgery. I'm going in my neck. I was singing praise and worship at church when my mouth turned back and started moving, okay? We were going live on the TV every morning, changing my gauze and wiping my face. And then my eyes started like draining a little bit. Then it like thick mucus started coming out. Then I used to say, we got action, y'all. We got action. We got action. I was telling them, God gonna bring this eye back. God gonna close my hole. God gonna heal me. I ain't going back to no hospital. I was saying it ever since day one. If y'all go back on my video, I was claiming it ever since day one. And my grandma was still alive at that time. So my grandma was my righteous prayer warrior, my partner, my best friend, my everything. And I said, Grandma, you got some more of that oil over there, that holy oil stuff y'all be praying with. You feel me? I need some help, baby. And I went over there and got some of her holy oil when my face had started healing and closing on its own at the house. And all I used on my face was my grandma praying oil from that moment to this day, period. Nothing else but my grandma praying oil. Now y'all know it ain't just the oil that healed me. It was the faith behind the praying and touching it. Oh, thank y'all for the hearts. Thank y'all for the love. Thank y'all for the lights. Thank y'all for the comment. And thank y'all for the share. Share, 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 share. Like, comment. Yeah. Even if you don't like it, push the button and let me know you don't like it. Yeah, all that too. So, anyways, um, so I didn't use nothing on my face, but my grandma hold the oil, y'all. I promise to God. Every day, all the way up, like I said, up until now. And I still walk around with my holy oil because that oil work, baby. Faith without works is dead. So let's get back we can go back to the funeral or back to the hospital. We can go back in one of them places. Because like I told y'all, it was all about forgiveness. And I was just going into a little bit to bring y'all up to let y'all know that it was not an easy walk. I don't care what you sit up here and think or look at me right now or looked at me and day and thought. I just try to make it look easy and I don't let nothing detour my personality and I'm just a laughing, talking person, you feel me? And I just trusted God through the whole process because I didn't have no control over that. The only part I had control over was my inside, my heart. And my biggest fight was to not let my heart get bitter no more. Not let my anger consume me no more. Not let me hate men or hate no more. That's the only thing I could change or control was my heart, my feelings, and emotions, which I tell y'all play a major role in our decisions and what we be doing and what we be going through. It be because our feelings been hurt. So we gonna act up or we gonna respond or we gonna turn up because you made me feel some type of way. You made me feel some type of way. And that be our feelings and emotions. and we don't know how to handle them. You feel me? Somebody say something we don't like, then boom, there it go. But okay, now let's go back. So I looked at my little thing last night. It had Matthew. It was Matthew something. I won't tell no story. But God tell his followers to forgive 70 times 7. You are supposed to forgive without a limit. And so, like I was telling y'all, God put me in a position where I ain't had nobody but him. Wasn't nobody gonna change this situation but him. The doctors had already counted me out. The ambulance driver had already notified my family I was dead. So that's why I said the doctors, oh, the police too. The police said he thought I wasn't gonna be able to make the interview when the police report had came back in the 3 days or whatever when he came back up to the hospital, to get the written statement and the recording stuff because I hadn't seen them no more since the emergency room. When I woke up and they were taking them pictures and stuff, yelling in my ear, look, y'all know I have to be funny. Look, y'all know how they be on the TV shows and stuff, and they be like, in the case of mercy, will you take blood? And they be running all down the highway and stuff like that. So that's how they was when I had woke up. And I told you I had woke up and I'm just coming to it, and I got these folks over here yelling and snapping, taking pictures. So I felt like, that was the police getting them raw and uncut pictures right there. Because I told y'all, my face, when I got shot, boom, my face just dropped. It just dropped. It didn't fall on the ground, and then it was still hanging. It was hanging like a rooster neck, and it was just swinging. And so when they first came, they thought they was coming to a disturbance call. But I was still alert. And so when I put my truck in park, and I opened my door, and I got out on my own 2 feet. And so they was like, ma'am, do you know who did this to you? So I was like, yes. I told him my husband. I gave him name, birthday, everything. I was aware. I was conscious. And then you know how they tell you to lay on the stretcher, I guess for transport to take me on to the hospital or whatever. And I guess that's when I went out. You feel me? I don't know because I don't never really remember being out. I just remember waking up. So, anyways, so the police, when they came up there with the report and stuff like the next 3 days or whatever, he was like, Miss Mixon, I was in the emergency room with you. He said, and I got to be honest with you, I didn't think that I was going to make it up here to do this interview with you because, you know, things weren't looking too good. You feel me? And, I just say, yeah, I understand that and all that or whatever. So in the very beginning, like I told y'all, they said I had 100% nerve damage. And they said I was going to be 100% paralyzed and all that. So a lot of stuff was going on, you feel me? And so when the doctors and stuff would come in and talking about the surgeries or what they needed to do or what they was going to do and the skin grafts, they were going to get two places from my body because my hole was so big and stuff that my nerve literally got so bad and my body would start shaking and my face would start bleeding. You feel me? In the very beginning, my face would start bleeding if my nerves got real bad. So I had to learn my body and stuff too during this time. I had to learn my body because things had changed. And so like now I still have some complications and stuff that I'm probably gonna have to deal with maybe for the rest of my life. But it definitely ain't where it's supposed to have been. Or it definitely ain't where it could have had been. You feel me? It could have been me. It should have been me. But if it wasn't for the blood, it could have been me. Y'all remember that song? But yeah, let her sing it. But yeah. So it could have been me. So all this done changed my whole mindset. This for this for real on everything. Look, this is it. I can't take now another lick. You feel me? I ain't got now another chance. This is it. So now I just look at it like the old Ebony died in the hospital. in real life, died in the hospital. And so when I came home, I tried to be new and made whole again and heal from all things, not just that thing, because then it was so many other things that rippled effect after that. And I tell anybody to this day, getting shot was the easy part. It was living life after being shot that was hard. It was living life after being shot where so many other people had been affected, where so many other people didn't want to talk about it, where so many other people had their own personal feelings. You feel me? And so my husband wasn't my girl's father. He was my son's father. So it was already altercation and attitudes and feelings from the jump, you feel me? Because that wasn't they dad. But I can't pacify them when I got him over here mourning his dad, you feel me? So I gotta try to do the right thing by my son right now. But in doing the right thing by my son right now, made my girls go against me. You feel me? So I was like in a lose lose situation from the beginning. But I had to do what was right. I had to be the one that was gonna have to answer for them decisions and choices. So to this day, like I said, I went through, but I'm glad that I was obedient. You feel me? I'm glad that God allowed me to be a vessel, a living vessel for the new millennium, to let y'all know that God is real, that God is still the same God. When we be looking in that Bible, it be saying, He, thou art, shall, all that stuff right there, we won't be understanding. He the same God. The things that he did back then, he can still do them today. The same way he rose Lazarus up from the dead, he rose me back up from the dead. So he just sent y'all a new millennium blessing so you can understand some of them words that the Bible was saying. So I break it down a different kind of way. I talk a little different. You feel? And then God had to clean my mouth up because when I first started going live, baby, them words were flowing from my heart, baby. I was cussing like a sailor. But I've always had the word in me. You feel me? And so I ain't never, I play crazy, but I am a little crazy. But I ain't crazy about that. So the word was always in me, but I wasn't living. You feel me? In that realm, I was doing my own thing, like I told y'all. So he used the least expected. He used the drug addict. He used the convicted felon. He used the person that had been molested. He used the person that had been through DHR. He used me. So I can relate to a lot of y'all in so many different type of ways. All the way around the board. So that you could call me or say to me or bring up that I could feel your pain because I probably went through it or endured it. You feel me? It's not a topic. We got a lot of addiction topics. Yes, we do. Addiction is a struggle. And then I had been clean. I was 3 years and woke up full of that. Excuse me, Lord. Full of all kind of pills and morphine and fentanyl too. Shoot. So then I had to start winging myself. Then I come home with 14, 15 prescriptions. I ain't never had no prescriptions in my life. I'm not finna take all them medicines every day. I ain't had to do this before in my life. And then when I was in my addiction, I woke up taking pills every day to function. You think I'm finna go through taking pills now again and I ain't on? Ain't no addiction. Guess what? The pill bottle rattling, triggering me. I don't want no pill bottle. So I had to start winging myself out saying what I couldn't go without or what I could, you know what I'm saying, not take. Had to come out, man, the muscle relaxers, baby, we had a whole argument in the mirror one day, cause them doctors had sent me home with some popsicle sticks, right? So I told y'all that my bones and stuff were broke and my mouth was wired together. So it was a process of my muscles and stuff getting back strong and my bones and stuff growing back and my mouth opening back up, you feel me? So they had sent me home with some popsicle sticks and told me, I want that phone to hush, but I don't want to push no button because y'all know I hang some up. I'm finna try it. Hold on. Oh, I did. All right, check this out. All right, so they sent me home with some popsicle things to stretch my muscles in my mouth, right? So I did them about 2 times or whatever. And then they had me in the bathroom slob. Slob. I'm talking about slob just coming down there. Cause this side still dead for real. And I still don't chew out of this side and stuff. But in the beginning, it was real bad. And I used to have food everywhere and everything. But I ain't let it stop me because I was determined to eat like I had been eating. And they sent me home with a syringe. Talking about, you supposed to eat out of a syringe and puree your food. I said, oh, I can't eat no fried chicken. I know syringe. I can't puree no oxtail. I'll eat regular. So they gave me them little popsicle sticks, right, to stretch my mouth. So we did that probably about two, 3 times. So I had went back to the doctor, and it was a instrument thing, some kind of thing they wanted to put in my mouth to see, measured or whatever. But my mouth wouldn't even open up that far for them to put it in there. Oh, baby. The next morning when I woke up for it was time to take my medicine and stuff. And they had me on about 2, 3 different muscle relaxers. I started telling them muscle, I said, that what wrong with my mouth right now. The damn muscle relaxers, excuse me, got lazy. You feel me? That way it's for to relax your body. So it relaxing my muscles. I don't need no 3 muscle relaxers. They chilling too hard in there. You gotta wake up, you feel me, and do some work. Cause when I go back to the doctor, I'm gonna pass that test and get that thing in my mouth. I always told them, don't play me like I'm handicapped. I was telling them that from the beginning. I was telling them my wound in my face, don't don't handicap me. My legs and my arms and stuff still work. When I told her to bring a little pot in there, that when I was in the hospital, she said, "What, man, Mister, what you gonna do with this pot?" I'm tired of y'all rolling me over like I'm a patient, a real patient or something. I just would not take no defeat. And I thank God for my strong will and my strong faith and my strong grandma, because that's how my grandma was. She just would not give up. She was always determined. My grandma lived till she was 95 years old, still walking around, climbing couches in the garden and everything. We just had made videos of her literally climbing over the couch. And then the next day, she was gone. Just like that. Just like that. I got shot in the face. Just like that. My husband committed suicide. Just like that. My daughter walked out the door. Just like that. Then my son ended up walking out the door about a year later. It's been about a year now. Just like that. So you don't think I felt hurt, betrayed, sad, confused, lonely, heartbroken, depressed? Baby, I done had to go through some things. And I've been broke down sometimes When my son left me, I was sick, literally sick. When my grandma died, I was sick, literally sick. But God gave me strength to make it through. God gave me strength to make it through. And so did what this daily bread thing say too. Did right here say God is there. God is there. He there for us. He don't never leave us. Wait a minute. Live restricted for some audiences. Oh, okay. I guess I might have said the wrong word on TikTok. I don't know nothing about y'all for real. I'm just trying to go with the program because they've been asking about it. So I just try to make myself sing here well. Because all I ever did was just push the button. That's all I ever did. Because when I woke up in the hospital, I had never went live in my life. Period. I had never went live. I didn't even have a phone at the hospital. But I heard some say, go live. Go live. And there I was again. Lord, who go live? Who go live? Who want to be seen? Who want to talk? Talk about what? That's the most hurting, embarrassing time of my life. Go live? What do you mean go live? I know he ain't talking to me again. I know he ain't talking to me. Go live. So I had to be obedient. That's how I called one of my homegirls that was coming up there and stuff. I asked her to bring me a phone. I ain't know how to push no. That's why I just told y'all I don't like pushing buttons because I still hang up 3 years later. I hang y'all up right now. I don't know nothing about doing all this. I don't pay no cash apps. I don't do all that. Now my butterfly blessed me tremendously in the beginning. I had a lot of people showing me love. And I did have to go get a P.O. box, and they told me how to go do all that stuff. I didn't know how to do none of that stuff. But as that died down and stuff, you know how like people automatically post their cash outs and all that, that just has never been my thing. Because I've always looked at my platform as God's platform because God enlarged that platform. And God gave me that platform. And God built that platform overnight. I didn't even know how many people were watching me. And it just went worldwide. And so by the time the hackers just took my page about 2 months ago, and I ain't heard that from Facebook yet, because that was my platform on Facebook. Butterfly Nation was the first place I went live at. So I felt more comfortable with them because they was there from the beginning. And so they knew all the ins and outs. They went to the doctors with me. Every doctor visit we went to, they didn't never do nothing. Because every time I walked in the door, oh, Miss Mixon, you look so amazing. All this stuff we had planned for you, we can't do it now. I was saying, oh, I need to call the big dog. Oh, I need to call the head doctor in charge. Uh, I got to the point after about 2, 3 visits, we started laughing before we even got to the hospital. And I already knew what the doctors were going to say. By that third visit, I told them, y'all keep telling me y'all need to call the doctor in charge. That ain't my doctor. My doctor named Jesus. You feel me? Y'all keep calling the wrong doctor. Because y'all doctors ain't going to know what's going on anyway. Because God done fixed that. God healing me. I had a plastic thing in my face, y'all. It was wire. Anything I'm saying, I'm right here on 3 platforms. I ain't told a lie yet in 3 years. I don't do them lies. Then I hate my platform got took. Or y'all be able to go back and look. But there's some videos on TikTok. I did share some of them little shorts. That's what they call shorts. How I make them with the different pictures and stuff on TikTok. And that's how I started that. But look, check this out. So they had this little piece of wire in my face also where I told y'all that it was big. My face was open big. I don't play with guns. I never have played with guns because I always had a quick temper, a hot mouth, and hot headed. guns would get me in trouble. I never played with guns. I never carried a gun. I don't like guns. Now I really don't like guns now. But okay, and the only reason I know what kind of gun it was because I didn't know when the police and stuff was there because I never asked one question, y'all. I never asked the doctors not one question. I never asked the doctor not now question because I didn't want to know. I told you I didn't want to hear it. It was questioning me to my bones. It was upsetting me to my inside, to my core. And so I never asked, but my daughter ended up telling me it was an AK, and that's why they said the impact alone should have shattered my face. I was still blessed. I still got my ear. I got everything. I got everything. I did lose my smell though. For 2 years I couldn't smell, y'all. For 2 years I couldn't smell. But God gave me my smell back after one night we went and fed some homeless people. And I came in and I was getting some clothes out the dryer. And I smelled it. I could smell the fabric softener. And I took out running. And I ran. I did my son like that. I said, smell it, you smell it. So he was like, yeah. I was like, what it smell like? He was like, clothes. I said, I know, I can smell it too. I can smell it, I can smell it. I came back, I pushed that button so fast because everything that happened in my journey, everything I asked God for, everybody that played a major part in my testimony, God brought those people right back around to me. It was a lady when I first woke up, a police officer. That when I first woke up, throwing up the blood. When I told y'all, that's why I kept specifying this side, because I was gonna tell y'all about this side. But I go to talking, and I be talking about 50 million things. Just keep up, all right. Or if you see something you want to go back to, say it. But I ain't looking at no comments. I just talk. I ain't being funny. I'm just here to spread the word. That's it. That's all. That's all I'm just here to help somebody else. So they won't have to go through everything that I had to go through. You feel me? And let y'all know that life is real, but God is realer. So let me tell y'all. So I had, but let me tell you about the police. Let me go back to that. I ain't gonna forget the why. So it was the police over here taking them pictures, doing all that. Yeah, you did the blood. You can we take your rings off and all that? We need blood transfusion. That was them over there. That was the police. But over on this, it was a lady crying, and I said, I was waiting up, and I said, hey, I said, come here. I said, what you crying for? Stop crying, baby. Stop crying. And she was crying, and she was just like, I just hate to see our black women laid up like this. And I just wish it was something that I could have did. And I was just like, hey. I said, stop crying. I said, this had to happen. That's what I told the lady in the hospital. I don't know why I said, but I told her this had to happen. But I looked at her name tag, and I said, I'm going to fire you, Officer King. I said, I'm going to fire you when I get out of here. And I'm going to be all right. And we're going to laugh about this. You feel me? 6 months later, on my husband's birthday, y'all, 6 months later, went to a football game, Little League football game. Literally, I ain't got no little league cheer. I wasn't even supposed to be there, but we were bored at the house. And my cousin, it was a game that was gonna be on our side of town, so they were coming to our side of town. So she was like, "Cuz, you wanna come out meet us at the football field?" So at first, I'm like, but then I was like, "Man, we ain't doing that." They called to come over here. Let's go on, go. All right. So you know how you be down there talking. My auntie and everything. They coach team moms and stuff all on the field. So I'm down there talking to them on the field and stuff and get ready to go back to the bleachers. I look up in the bleachers. Get who I see? The police lady from the emergency room. I took out running. I stood right there. We hugged. We took pictures. I post my pictures and everything. And that 6 months later on my husband's birthday is when I found out that I was pronounced dead and that she was in the room to identify my body. What? I said, wait, what? Who? I said, who? Look, I ain't being funny, y'all. I said, pronounce who dead? Me dead? Who? That lady told me that day that she still had nightmares about what she saw in that hospital room. And I just felt so bad for her. You feel me? But it was like I was still kind of like in a shock zone thing or something. Still like in Lululand, La La Land. Because like as time went on, things would hit a little different. You feel me? And then it was like, wait a minute. They called her to identify my body. So she had to get there, park, and everything. So it was like I really was gone. You feel me? Like, where they do that at? Like, how? And then I'm still moving my arm. I'm still moving my leg. Look, I wake up, I still remember. I still remember. I ain't forget nothing. I ain't forget nothing. Not from that night, my past or no memory loss. I said, Lord, you too good. You too good to me. You too good. Why all wretched me? What made you save me? Because Lord knows I asked him to take me after that when I woke up that second time now with them things squeezing my leg. Because that's the time I could tell y'all I woke up in my flesh. And when I say my flesh, it's because I remember my face dropping. So I know in my mind I got half a face. I don't know what, and I pictured this, the skeleton that used to be in the science class and stuff. That's how I pictured my face, like on the x-ray or something. And so I didn't know nothing else that was wrong when I first woke up. You feel me? Like I said. Because when I woke up in the ICU, I woke up with them little cuff things squeezing my leg. And so, like I said, I just woke up and you can hear the beep, beep, beep. So I woke up in my place. So I remember my face dropping. I remember it swaying. So like I said, I got half a face. I already know um, how life had already been. I already know things that I already was going through. I already know how life has been. So I don't want to go through this. I don't want to fight this battle right here because this battle right here finna be too hard. You feel me? And that's when I asked God to take me. And that I didn't hear from God. I heard from my mama. And my mama had been gone, dead since I was 18. And you know how you be mourning your mamas or your grandparents or whatever, and they say sometimes they come to you in a dream, or sometimes you go looking for them. And I still had never seen my mama or heard from my mama. But that day, when I asked God to take me, I heard my mama say, "You can't come. You got to stay here. You got work to do." And so I knew from that moment forward that I was going to be all right, that I had to be all right. It wasn't no choice about me being all right because I asked you to take me. I don't want to be here. I don't want to fight this battle. I ain't did nothing so magnificent where I supposed to have been brought back to life. So if you brought me back, then it got to be for something greater. Hello, somebody. If I'm still here, if you still here from everything you've been through, everything you faced, everything you thought you wasn't gonna make it through, and you still here, it's a reason. And we done been through the worst. We done been through the worst. Some of us done been to the bottom. So it can't do nothing but get better. I can't go no lower. I can't cry. I can't cry no more. Baby, my eyelids start drying up. The folks told me that I'm going to have a plastic surgery for my eye. Baby, listen, I can't. I need to reserve my tears, you feel me, for some real serious business, okay? So I can't cry no more, Lord. I need you to fix it. I need you to turn this around. Baby, you don't know how many times I was in there praying and crying out. Y'all don't know how many times I was on my knees. Y'all don't know how many times I had to fast and pray. Y'all don't know, but guess what? That don't mean that breakthrough was right there either. That don't mean just because I fasted and prayed that things changed just like that. That don't mean they came together just because I was learning to be quiet. That don't mean that my life just magically got together just because I decided, no, that don't mean that. That don't mean that at all. That don't mean that at all. It just means that I stood faithful in the decisions that I made and the walk that I made. And I thank God for, like I said, giving me my platform because that was my outlet. But then once I got to a certain place in my life and so many things had started hitting me, I started getting weaker and weaker and pulling back and pulling back. You feel me? And I shut down. I pulled back. I separated myself. And sometimes that be a bad time, like I tell you, especially in depression, because sometimes the devil wants you off to yourself so he can attack you. You feel me? But then sometimes you got to go through that alone season. It be necessary too, because when you keep pushing the button and trying to encourage other people and trying to lift other people up, and then you realize that you are way at the bottom, that ain't gonna work. You feel me? I can't give everybody my all and keep smiling and pushing the button like everything all right, and this ain't all right, baby. Everything ain't all right, so I got to stop. I got to stop. I got to stop it all. I got to stop everything. And I got to get me together because it was things that I didn't deal with. It was things that I didn't talk about. It was things that weren't spoken upon. I told y'all it took me and my oldest daughter 2 years and 8 months to even bring that night up. It took me and my baby girl, the one that walked out the house, it took us 2 years and 11 months. And that was only because I couldn't take the wondering and the guessing no more. And I just had to know, why did you leave, baby? What made you leave me? And I had to know this. And I had to prepare myself for that. Whatever her answer may have been. Because I had to accept that. Whether it was going so I prepared myself for the most worst thing she could say or the most loving thing she could say. But I had to know. It was necessary that I knew in order to move on. Because they're wondering. And I don't know what else, or did I do this, or we could have did that, or maybe I should. That would drive you crazy. It'll drive you crazy. So I had to ask God to prepare me to even have a conversation with my daughter about that. See, sometimes you have to prepare and equip yourself for certain situations because they're not easy situations, but they need to be necessary situations. And communication is key. And a lot of us don't know how to communicate. We don't. It could be how we perceive things and how we put things out too. Because you can say something to somebody in the wrong way and it change the whole conversation. Like when I caught Lonzo after he left here, going on my Gmail account. When I called him that first time, he said, "I know like hell you ain't in my account. I know like you ain't in my account, and you don't live in my up under my roof. You ain't. I know you ain't playing with my money." And then that was the first time, cause I just know you ain't. But then he did it again. Checking on my Gmail, trying to send a sneak message. He was trying to send a message then though. Second time, I called him. I said, "Monzo," I said, "How you doing today, son?" I said, "You know I get notifications on my phone, don't you?" "Yeah, man." I said, "So you just alerted me, right?" Oh yeah, man. And that's the night we end up going to the movies and all that stuff or whatever. But it was the same situation. It was just how I said it or how I came to him with it. See, the first time when I said, I know like hell you ain't in my car, that he don't want to talk no more. They don't want to talk no more then, you feel me? Oh, she got attitude, or she always talking like that, or she crazy, da, 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 da. Then the second time, I just was like, well, hello, son. How you doing? You know, like what you got going on? What we going with this? What's up? So I had to learn to tone down a little bit sometimes. I had to learn to be quiet sometimes. And I had to be quiet when I had so much to say. I had to be quiet even when I was right. I had to be quiet even when you hurt me. I had to be quiet when we went in the same room and you ain't got nothing to say to me. What? 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 What they do that at? Huh? Huh, baby? Huh, Pookie Pie, love bug? Yeah. So I had to be broke down and taught some things too. And that's why I tell my people to always look at the role we play in situations too. Because we play a role, whether it's good or bad. We play a role. You feel me? A lot of us don't want to look at our role because it's always somebody else's fault. Because if she hadn't said this, if she hadn't called my phone, I wouldn't have had to go off. I know she know I don't talk to her. I don't even know why she came over here. She too close to me. You feel me? All kind of stuff. But it's always somebody else's fault. You feel me? But it's okay. We learn as we go. And as we go, we grow. And that's all we're going to do over here. When I'm talking and pushing buttons, we're going to grow. We're going to heal. Okay? We're going to live. We're going to change some things. We're going to learn some things about ourselves. We're going to learn some things about God. We're going to learn some things about our children. We're going to learn some things. And that's all this is. I'm on a healing mission. And if you don't want to heal, then you need not even push my page. You might well keep on scrolling past my page because I ain't over here for the drama. I ain't over here for the foolishness. I don't care what nobody doing in their life. I don't care nothing about no bloggers, no hot topics, no none of that. Even though I watch it, it would not be my topic of discussion. You feel me? Because when I push the button, I'm coming to tell you about what God did for me, or something that's good or productive, or something that I'm out in my ministry or in the streets or the community doing. You feel me? And I don't have no limits because just like I told y'all, I can sit with the mayor and I can sit with the homeless people as well. You feel me? So I ain't my face card good everywhere, so I might be anywhere and pull up on anybody and just push the live button because it be a testimony or an outrageous, unbelievable story. Because you'll be amazed at the people that God placed in your path. You'll be amazed at the people you run across. You'll be amazed at the people that be like start coming out of nowhere. In the beginning, remember everybody they were coming out of nowhere everywhere I went, and it's still like that to this day. I just don't do all that blowing up, posting it like that no more. People all around the world was giving their testimonies, and that's what we gonna do and start back up doing. I don't mind y'all coming in, chiming in the line. Just don't chime in my line, telling me no you cute or hey what you doing. That little goof troop stuff, cause this ain't that. You feel me? And I would love for anybody to come and say what God and brought them through, or they've been in a domestic violence situation, or they've been in a toxic situation. Because I never considered myself a domestic violence victim or a gun violence victim. I might be a gun violence victim more than I say a domestic violence victim, but I'm a survivor. You feel me? Because a lot of that stuff that we be doing and going through be from our toxic behaviors as well. Because sometimes we be used to certain behaviors and we think certain stuff be cute or alright until something happens. You know, when we be flattening the tires and busting out the windows and scratching the cars and egging them and all kind of stuff. You know, we be laughing, playing, that be funny, all jokes, you know, he ain't harm. But the same thing make you laugh, make you cry. You understand? So sometimes we be used to, some of us used to fight and then getting back together for the night over with, you know, and be waking up the next morning laughing and playing about it. Everybody, it's what it was. The Zaria car in the Frenchman. Man, that dang on the video with them folk argue over an hour. Over an hour. My head started hurt, baby. My head started hurting. I didn't even know when the folks had happened. I talked so I just don't even understand. But what everybody said, they was used to that. That's how they talk to each other. That's how they deal with each other. That's what they been doing. And sometimes you can tell a person to go on, and sometimes us women don't know how to let stuff go either. We'll antagonize or we'll keep going. And it don't even have to be in a relationship as far as man or women. It could be in a conversation because we always got to get the last word. You feel me? Or what I got to say is more important than what you got to say, or if what you got to say. I'm talking about what I'm talking about. You feel me? So it just don't have to be girls and boys relationships. It could be in any kind of relationship because that's the mentality that you have. Some of y'all got that one auntie right now that don't know how to get out the phone, don't know how to be quiet. Every time she come in town, want to rearrange how, want to do what she put her stuff over here, go in, you know, that one auntie that get on y'all nerves, that just do be in her own little world. Yeah, yeah. And so some of us be like that in our own little world. So we just have to think about a lot of stuff. And so that's why I say toxicity. Because a lot of us are toxic people. And I would probably say it need to be more groups or platforms on toxicity shit. If you want to just be real, if I be real with you. Because we've been doing toxic stuff for a long time. Some of that stuff like them old folks say, oh God, I wouldn't do half of that stuff you do. I'd be scared. We'll be scared to do a lot of stuff. You feel? We'll be scared. And that's normal to us. Some of that stuff ain't normal to everybody. But then what's normal to the next person might not be normal to you. So what is normal? My normal or your normal? You feel? So I would say toxicity. And I learned on my journey that, like I said, we are some are toxic people. And when you deal with toxic people, you deal with a lot of broken people. You deal with a lot of hurt people. You deal with a lot of people that's been mistreated. You deal with a lot of people that have abandonment issues. And that's because they was too young and they still haven't sorted out them different feelings and emotions. Because sometimes when those feelings hit, we automatically go to negative behavior. We automatically go to negative response. It ain't not nothing to be sitting up there saying, oh, you know what? What's your name? I ain't even call your name right here, Nook the book, but I said it anyway. But you know what, Deidre Wilson? I want to apologize to you. I was wrong. I could have said that a little bit better. You feel me? We ain't finna say nothing like that. Shh. We don't say you hurt my feelings. We don't. We go to the B's and the H's and everything else before we can say you hurt me or you disappointed me. You let me down. Those are your feelings, but we don't know how to identify our feelings. And then when we try to identify our feelings, a lot of us are used to reacting, like I said, in a negative way. I used to be a fighter, a physical fighter. So I used to fight when my feelings and emotions get roused up. So I didn't handle my feelings and emotions in a positive way. And I was still 30 some years, I was still fighting with my hands. Until, like I said, I started realizing that I can't continue to fight with my hands because we used to fight them battles. We used to fight them battles. You feel me? It's just a good workout. If fight ain't gonna last too long, you know what I'm saying? So you either win or you lose. It ain't the end of the world. But a lot of these children don't want to fight because they can't fight. And then they got their pride and their ego in the way because they can't lose no fight and get talked about. You feel? So that when they want to pull pistols and guns and stuff out because they got to protect their image. You know what I'm saying? Who I am. You know what I'm saying? So I can't get beat up. I can't get whooped. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna shoot at her or I'm gonna shoot her. So the table. So this is my era, like I said. And so here I am, 30 some years old, and now I got big children. And now we physically fight, because look, I ain't delivered yet. I ain't all the way there. And I'm a high tempered person. You feel me? I'm an aggressive person. So you can't talk to a aggressive person being aggressive. Make it make sense. How you think me and you gonna have a decent conversation with you yelling and screaming in my ear? It ain't gonna go. My nerves gonna get too bad. You feel me? My nerves gonna get bad. Then that's when you gonna have to reach out and touch somebody's hand. But that's not the battle that we fight in anyway. Because like I said, some of us used to fight physically. But when you have to get in that spiritual battle and you fight, that's a whole different kind of battle right there, baby. That's something that we ain't used to. We don't run and pick up no word. We don't run and pick up no daily bread or no scripture when we get upset or when things go wrong or whatever. We run to pick up the blunt or we run to pick up the bottle or we run to pick up the lean, you feel me? Or we run to the nigga or we run to the female for our emotional damage. You know what I'm saying? Or our pain or our hurt. So we gonna cover that up with more feelings of that. Or we go out and do something stupid because we ain't thinking right. We don't run to no word. Who run to the word? Who run to the word? If you run to the word on here, just let me know where I come to your church. Oh, I ain't got to visit no church. Okay, just make sure. Okay, because I know it's a lot of deacons and ministers and prophetesses and stuff on these lives sometimes. You know, I'm just a little saint. I mean, I'm just a little somebody trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save anybody. He can save anybody. If he can save me, he can save you. If he can change me, he can change you. If he can make me be quiet, he can make you be quiet. If he can change my heart, he can change your heart. If he can forgive me, he can forgive you. And that's it. That's all. Oh, but let me give y'all some scripture because I ain't read no scripture out of this paper. Hold on. Hold on, let me tell y'all something. Thus said the Lord. Wait a minute, let me see what he say. God is here. This is what I was trying to tell you about. Check this out, what it say in Psalms. It say, if I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there also. That's Psalm 1. It was like 139. So then y'all know at the bottom of it, daily breads, they be having the two questions. And so if we would have did this passage, one of the questions was, what worries you most today? What worries you most today? And that goes back to them issues that we don't want to talk about or we don't want to deal with or we got them covered up so we put this little block up and act like everything all right. What's really worrying you today? And then it say, how does knowing the creativity of God's presence help you? that I know that He is with me day and night. He is by my side and He never left me or forsaken me thus far, and He ain't gonna leave me now. And that gives me more comfort and more joy peace when I know that I don't know the answers or I don't understand or I don't have the power. It gives me peace to know I'm rolling with the power. Now, that's my dad, and Jesus is my brother. Okay? Don't get it twisted. God is my daddy and Jesus is my brother. Sometimes I go talk to Jesus though, cause when I be a little, you know what I'm talking about, out track, I don't go to my big dad, cause he don't be playing. He don't be having time. I'm trying to turn y'all off on him. I'm finna turn y'all off. I'm finna turn y'all off too. I gotta get ready to go choir rehearsal. I hope I'll get in trouble tonight. I got in trouble last week, Jesus. Yeah, I know I'm at another church. I'm at another church. I joined the old folk church. The one I told y'all with the old folk. But I ended up going back. Because I felt like, I had needed probably like a little more structure. You feel me? Because I don't want to go to no church where they doing the same thing in the street. Said shit. I ain't gotta get dressed up and come in here for that. I can stay at home if it's still the world. I'm for real. You feel me? If I'm coming to church, I'm coming to church. Don't bring that street mess in here, and the pastor should not allow anything to go on in there. You feel me? Don't do that. And if you allowing that type of stuff, then I can't learn nothing from you. So I don't need to be up under your guidance. So I felt like I needed to probably go to an older church then, maybe an older church. So look, I got me another church now. Look, so I'm in the choir over there too, right? So look, at this church we can't wear no pants in the sanctuary. Oh Lord, I got my arms. I'm straight for choir rehearsal. Look, yeah, cause look, I went and bought me some long sleeve shirts and everything, y'all, like a real church lady. Yeah, I went and bought me some church clothes, but I got in trouble last week. But I'm gonna hope and pray for a better week this week, and we're gonna trust and believe and a better week for all of us. I used to tell y'all, this what I was saying about the Sunday thing. I used to do on Sundays. I used to make a little reel, a little short. And I would say, good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is Sunday, the beginning of a new week. And we are going to make this week better than last week. And then I start adding. And I'm trusting and I'm hoping and praying, trusting and believing that God will go before me and open up doors for me that no man can close. And go before me and prepare a room that they don't even expect me to be in, or they don't even think that I'm qualified to be in. And I'm trusting and believing in all of these things in Jesus' name. Because if it's in His will be done. You understand me? Then I tell y'all to take the Lord with you, and the rest will follow. Put on your full armor because we are definitely under attack. And then this when we go to that all that little fight stuff. I wasn't doing that because I think I'm hard because we do not fight against flesh and blood. So this is nothing no more. You could be the best boxer in the world. You can't fight them spirits off, baby. You could be the best fighter in the world. You can't see them spirits and who they jumping in and who they gonna use, who the devil gonna use next. And you think he coming one way and he coming the whole other side of the way and slap you upside the head again. So bad. So put on your forearm because we do not fight against flesh and blood. We fight against spirits and principalities. And the only way to fight in that battle is through prayer and scripture. Now, I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. Happy Thursday, Thankful Thursday, and Testimonial Thursday. Now, how y'all look? Okay, it's up here. I love y'all.